Well, in my case, it was quite original. See, I had the duty, and I wasn't ashore then. I was on a ship then. I had the duty. I think I had the 12 to 4, 12 noon to 4 o'clock. But when you have the duty, you couldn't go out of the Navy Yard, but you could go around in the Navy Yard. Now this was a Sunday morning, and normally we had lousy food on our ship. We had just one cook there, and we usually had the shit on the shingle, which is chipped beef on toast, and the naval hospital was a couple miles away. Now, you could go in that naval. They had a wonderful galley up there where you could eat, and they didn't check anybody's card or anything. You could just walk in there and eat, and get ham and eggs, and they had eggs there, and they had platters of ham, platters of sausage, platters of bacon, and you could help yourself. That was heaven for us. So me and my buddy, I said, let's go up to the hospital and eat breakfast. Okay, we'll go up there. See, we had to walk up there, and we stuffed ourselves with ham and eggs and all that, and it was about a quarter to 8 then. So I said, well, we better start going back, get back to the ship by 8 o'clock, Okay, so we're on our way. We're walking back to our ship in Pearl Harbor when the Japs hit. I wasn't even on the damn ship then, So by the time we got down there, the ship had taken off. There was very few crew on, just one officer and just about 10 or 15 men. The rest of them were all ashore, And some of the guys were up in the canteen drinking beer already Sunday morning. And so the one officer we had, he wanted to get his ass out of Pearl Harbor before he figured that they're going to close the harbor down. So we got down to the docks and our ship is gone. So there was a bunch of wounded guys and guys who were bad burns coming out of the water and off a motorboat. And me and my buddy, we jumped in this boat and helped this guy get these burned guys out of the water and put them in a boat and bring them ashore. And then later on, there was a truck coming down, and I helped put these guys in and take them up to the hospital. And we're carrying these wounded guys, and when they jumped off of the ship to the water to swim ashore, all the oil was on the top of the water, and it started burning. And these guys got burnt in their face and hands, and swimming in this hot water was on fire there with the oil. That's how they got burned. They jumped off the ship to save themselves, and then swimming in, they got all that burns. And we were standing around in the hospital up there waiting for a truck to take us back to, and some doctor came, he said, what are you guys doing? He said, no, we're just waiting we're bringing patients up here. He said, I need, come with me, I need a couple of hands, or come with me. Yes, sir. So he took us into his room and gave us a fly spray gun, when you spray flies with, and he put oil in it. Now these guys are badly burnt. I want you to go down the island and spray them with this oil out of these cans. And I spent about another 2 or 3 hours doing that. Then it was getting close to nightfall then. And our ship was gone, so we just slept out on the grass that night, me and my buddy, by the hospital. And the next day, we helped out again with the wounded people. And finally, I said, we better do something about it. And our ship hadn't come in, so we went down to the receiving station, which is the people really in charge of us. And we told them we was off the ship on December the 7th getting some breakfast up at the hospital, and the ship took off and left us stranded here. They said, okay, they put us in general detail then and give us jobs to do, So we worked around it for about a week, then our ship came in. When the ship came in, we went back aboard. But that's how I spent Pearl Harbor, was at the hospital eating good food and helping the wounded, down at the docks.
Now, did you witness any of the attack as you were going back?
Oh yeah, I saw a jet plane come down. We saw him. He was hit, and he came down, and he hit right in the Navy, not too far from us. We went over, and I saw his body laying there. The Jap officer. He even had that flag around, some kind of flag around his throat, a Japanese flag. And his plane that Zero was laying there, and he was dead. But that was on our way back down to the docks. And our ship wasn't hurt. The Allen, nobody strafed it or anything. It wasn't hurt a bit.
And did you witness the anti-aircraft fire coming up at that point in time then?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it must have been a chaotic scene.
It was, yeah. Later on, I found out on our ship, this officer just told his guy, man those machine guns and fire them. Well, he said, I don't have the keys to the ammunition locker. And the officer, he didn't have the key to they didn't have the key to the ammunition locker. They couldn't get the goddamn ammunition out of the locker. And they finally actually broke the damn door down to get the ammunition out for a 50 caliber gun, you know. That's how chaotic it was. Usually when an officer goes on liberty, if he has certain keys, he's got to give them for the officer who's going to be. There's always one officer aboard. He should be the officer of the deck, you know, for the weekend. He should have got the keys to that ammunition locker, but he didn't have them.
Now, a lot's been made of that over the years, but that was standard protocol in a peacetime setting to lock the ammunition.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But in that case, there were no keys available.
No, it was just an irony of it, you know, that they couldn't fire the guns, couldn't get the ammunition out of the locker.
And then when you were taking the boat in the harbor to try and rescue the sailors that had jumped overboard, how was that scene? Do you recall?
It was pretty treacherous because you had to watch yourself where these fires were, you know, and the wind was blowing, and you could see an open space, and pretty soon the wind would blow that oil over towards your boat. You know, you're going out to get some guys, and all that oil is on fire, and the wind was blowing. You got to get it out of there, otherwise you'd catch your boat on fire. You know. And that there was like a lot of guys. I know one time I was trying to get into them and get them, and this swath of fire was coming toward. I had to get around her, and them poor guys, they died right there. I couldn't get them out. And there was about three or four other boats doing the same thing. You know, there were motor launches that were tied up there at the docks. You know, belonged to some of them ships that were there, and just tied up there, and. Some of us jumped in, got them started, go out and pick these guys up out of the water.
And were the ships still exploding at that point in time?
Oh yeah, well, the Oklahoma was on fire, the Nevada was running aground, the Utah had run aground, the battleships were all in bad shape, but all the other ships, the destroyers, there were a lot of destroyers in there, and a couple of cruisers. Now the Japs didn't bother try to bomb them. They didn't want to waste their bombs on those smaller ships. They just went after the battleships, or carriers. But there's no carriers, so they went after the battleships, our big ships. And the other ships that was able to go out, like our destroyer, they just went out of Pearl Harbor, went out to sea, you know. And the Japs didn't bother them. They just couldn't waste their valuable bombs on that small stuff. They went after the big stuff.